Hi there, it's Nicole from Mama Elephant, and today I have a oversized gift tag showcasing the new Meowy Woofmas stamp set, which is this awesome stamp set that does have a little dog and a cat, but could totally be used with other images as well. It's perfect for creating awesome front door scenes, especially for holiday season. I just love it. I think it's so super cute and fun, and I would love to see it used with other images besides maybe these animals, other little people or stuff in addition to the critters. I just think it's super cute. I am using the Tags a Lot stamp set with the Meowy Woofmas stamp set and creating an oversized tag, but you could definitely do this exact same scene for the front of a card instead. You could even put this tag on the front of a card. It will fit on an A2 sized card. I'm going to start, I did stamp the front door, and I am going to tape my tag and the front door to a piece of smooth white cardstock and die cut those first. This was a little bit of a work in progress where I wasn't exactly sure the direction I was going to go with this. So that didn't quite die cut all the way, so I'm going to have to die cut that tag again. I wanted to kind of lay things out and make sure they worked. Now, I missed videotaping. I did stamp the stairs and then the greeting from our house to yours on the stairs. And then I've just laid my front door there. I'm going to go ahead and stamp the rest of the images I want to use for my card, including this great Meowy Woofmas little sign. You can hang it from the door, which was my original plan. You can hang it next to it. It's so cute. I think it would be cute maybe even hanging out of the dog's mouth if it would fit or something like that. I stamped it several times, trying to get the best impression. Probably what I should have done was use the Misty and stamp it a couple times on top of each other to get an even darker impression, but I didn't want to get my Misty out. I'd already started stamping, and so I just went with it. I used just about every image from this stamp set. I don't always do that. It was kind of different for me. I usually do a little more mixing and matching or whatever, but I did use almost every image from the stamp set. I stamped everything with black ink on smooth white cardstock except for the trees. I am using a Simon Says stamp ink and olive. I think that ink may have been discontinued, but Hero Arts has some, other companies have this kind of olive color of ink. So there's lots of different inks you can find that are similar. I'm going to go ahead and color in the stairs here on the bottom of my tag with some Copic markers. I'm using warm grays to give the look of cement stairs. Pulling in my darkest marker from the outside edges and where those two steps kind of intersect there. And then doing more of my midtones. So it's warm gray 6, then warm gray 3, and in the very center over the text, I did warm gray 1. I love that. Now, I do believe there are some little distress stamps in this stamp set. I did not use them, but you could totally do that, and I think that would be super cute and fun too. Honestly, I really just kind of forgot. I was going to pull them in and use them, and I didn't. Next, I'm coloring in the front door red. This is a Christmas card. I love the look of red front doors, so I really wanted this to pop, especially when my critters are going to be more neutral. The stairs are neutral. The background of my tag is going to be neutral. The red door is really going to pop. So I just kind of started working here. I'm using R24 as my base red color, and R27 will be my shading. And I'm simply going to color with these, blend that out, and gradually work my way out with the door. I wasn't exactly sure how much of this image I wanted to go with red, so I started pretty small. I was really afraid of doing too much red. I wanted some nice neutrals to kind of frame it up, especially because the part that I just colored red is the actual door. The rest is the framing. The accents on the door I did with some warm grays, the doorknob as well. Now that little center section in the stained glass door, I am going to do red and green just for the holiday season. I thought that would look good. But then I'm doing some of the rest of the trim and things and the outlines on my stained glass door with my warm grays, same colors that I used for the stairs, trying to keep it kind of consistent. And the grays are a nice neutral against the red. Also gonna frame it up here with some more grays. This is where I just kind of gradually worked my way out with my markers, coloring in this image so that it got colored exactly the way I wanted it to look. Now I want the rest of this to look like clear glass. So I'm using the BG10 Cool Shadow marker and just kind of lightly coloring all of that so that it gives the look of see-through glass. Down here at the bottom, more warm gray, framing up that door. I like to lay it on the project before I committed to anything else. I wanted to see what it looked like. Little bit more glass here up above the door. So that was my BG10. A little green to finish off my stained glass window. These are yellow green 9.5 and 9.7. Then even a lighter gray combination. This is warm gray 3-in-1 for the outside edge of my door, the trim here. And then I did do some more red up above. And that kind of ties that whole red theme there for the door together. I could have done that in grays too, dark grays if I wanted to, but I thought it looked kind of cool this way. Once I have all of my shading and coloring done, only a couple color or shades per color, I will go back over my outline with my warm gray 3-in-1 markers. I felt like it needed darkened just a tiny bit. It kind of washed out too much with my warm gray 1 marker. That looks pretty good, and the door opens. So if you want to do a little peekaboo design, you could do that and it would be so fun. Really, really cute. I'm going to go ahead and tape my tree die in place. I made a little error, and so I want to say what I did just in case you do the same thing. The tree actually has 3 little things inside of it, and I wasn't paying attention when I got my dies, and I cut them all apart. Do not cut the little spacers inside your tree out. Those are actually in there to die cut little areas out of the tree. I used some Post-it tape to hold those back in place so that I could die cut them that way. But it's so much easier if you don't do what I did. I am coloring in the little pots that my trees are going to go in with some brown colors. That's E40, 43, and 44. The little greenery that I'm going to hang from the front door is going to be with those same shades of yellow green 9.5, and I think I just used maybe 9.5 or 9.7. I can't remember which. A couple of shades of red for the bow. I outlined my sign with those same brown colors. The Santa hats with my reds. I kept everything fairly consistent until I get to my critters. And then I will color those with some different colors of markers. I'm kind of a little orange kitty here. This is one of my favorite color combinations to color in cats. I think it's kind of fun. I'm going to do some little stripes. And I ended up going over this a bunch of times trying to get the color combination exactly the way I wanted. I could have probably left it just like this and it would have been fine. I did pull in a darker color as well. I was trying to find exactly the one I wanted to go over those even more. So cute. And then I like to blend it out with my lighter colors, but I felt like it just kept blending out too much, so I kept going over it. That is the great thing about Copic markers. You can go over things as many times as you need to. I even thought I would go in and add some dot detail, and that totally didn't work, so I blended it back out with my light color marker. And then I had to go back over it a couple more times to kind of fix that mistake. The dog I am going to do in the earth tones E40, 43, 44, and 47. I put down my base color of E40. Then I'm going in with E44 and adding all of my darkest shading, and I'll blend that out with E43 and go back with E40 and blend it out even more. The E47 is going to add that extra depth and dimension. So there's going to be some places where I definitely want darker shading. So I went in here and went back in because really that E40 blended it out way too much, more than what I wanted for this particular design. And again, I'm just kind of doing reverse order. E47, then E44, then E43, and then back to E40. I die cut my images then using all the coordinating Meowy Woofmas dies. And there's kind of what it's all going to look like. But I felt like my little house back behind needed some texture. This is the Tim Holtz bricked stencil, and I'm using a Dauber Duo with the Pumice Stone Distress ink and really lightly inking through this stencil. You can see I am not completely covering this stencil. I want a hint of the bricks. I don't want them to look gray or tan. I want them to just give that illusion of the bricks back behind the front door. So when I pop that front door in place, and you only want to put adhesive around anything that is not that door that opens, you can see how awesome that looks. I love the texture back behind the door. Especially with a white tag like this, I felt like it needed some interest to the background. I'm gluing my little trees in place by the front door, and this is where I thought I'd hang that Meowy Woofmas from the front door, and it is cute, but it kind of covered up a lot of my stained glass door, and I didn't want to do that. So I'm tucking my animals like they're peeking out from the door and adding some detail to the noses and eyes with a black glaze pen. And then what I ended up doing was hanging the sign off to the right, and then just leaving my little greenery hanging there, except that I decided I wanted to take the glass one step further and put some glossy accents over the glass. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now with my glossy accents, just kind of draw all over any of those areas that are light blue, that cool shadow, and I'll let that dry really well and then replace my greenery once I have that in place. So you have to be kind of careful with the glossy accents. The fine applicator tip would work great. Mine I actually had to remove. It got clogged and I got frustrated, so I pulled it out and pitched it. So I instead just kind of went really carefully with my glossy accents over those areas and filled them in. I did add a little bit more shading with my cool shadow marker before doing the top area. Glossy accents is such a wonderful adhesive and great for accents. I use it all the time. It's one of those things that adds a big impact, but not a ton of dimension or anything like that. It's just really easy for lots of different things. On the back tag, which I've die cut from some Lawn Fawn Narwhal cardstock, I stamped the To and From the Mini Messages Mama Elephant stamp set. Pretty simple. I didn't add anything else. I'm going to glue the tags back to back and then finish with a tag reinforcement up near the top that I've die cut from some Lawn Fawn Storm Cloud cardstock. I think that adds a really nice finishing touch. Once I have that in place, I will take a crocodile and punch through that. I'm also going to put my greenery back hanging on the front door, and then I threaded through some sparkly twine, red and white twine up near the top, and knotted it to finish off my tag design. Thanks for joining me today for this Mama Elephant project showcasing the new Meowy Woofmas stamp set and coordinating dies. The supplies I've used to create this card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more projects showcasing Mama Elephant stamps and dies that you might be interested in. Please subscribe for weekly card making and stamping videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.